Hey folks, I'm headed out to see Leila Josefowicz perform the Stravinsky Violin Concerto on Sunday the 18th of May at the Barbican Centre in London. Leila Josefowicz is a champion of this work and will be performing with the London Symphony Orchestra at the Barbican Hall. This will be a first for me, as I've never seen Leila Josefowicz live before, and I'm looking forward to it. She will be conducted by Susanna Mielke. The programme includes works by Julia Perry and Bela Bartok also. Now, the Stravinsky Violin Concerto is a modern piece that is not so readily accessible to me personally as, for example, the great romantic works or even the Sibelius or pieces by Kreisler. I have to make more of a mental effort to concentrate on and appreciate this concerto than I do perhaps with others of the mainstay repertoire. But I'm up for it, and this has prompted me also to do a bit more background research on the origins of this violin concerto. So the violin concerto by Igor Stravinsky was composed in the summer of 1931 and premiered on October the 23rd, 1931. It lasts approximately 20 minutes and is a neoclassical work. Neoclassicism in music was a 20th century trend, particularly current in the interwar period, in which composers sought to return to aesthetic precepts associated with the broadly defined concept of classicism, namely order, balance, clarity, economy, and emotional restraint. As such, neoclassicism was a reaction against the unrestrained emotionalism and perceived formlessness of late Romanticism, as well as a call to order after the experimental ferment of the first 2 decades of the 20th century. The violin concerto was commissioned by Blair Fairchild, an American composer, diplomat, and the patron of the young Polish violinist Samuel Dushkin. Willy Strecker of Beschot-Zöhner, Stravinsky's music publisher at the time and also a friend of Dushkin's, asked Stravinsky to compose a concerto for Dushkin. Though Stravinsky was reluctant, citing unfamiliarity with the instrument, Strecker assured the composer that Dushkin would consult about technical matters. Stravinsky noted in his autobiography that Dushkin's availability for such advice was a factor in his undertaking the violin concerto. He also sought the opinion of composer and violist Paul Hindemith, who allayed Stravinsky's fears, suggesting that his unfamiliarity with the instrument might help him come up with new possibilities. Stravinsky met with Dushkin at Strecker's residence in Wiesbaden and decided to go ahead. When Stravinsky met Dushkin, the first soloist of his violin concerto, he showed him a chord written on a napkin. This chord became what Stravinsky called the passport for the work. It opens each movement, but the music that follows is different each time, from the lively opening and the melancholy arias to the delicate finale. I'm pretty certain this will be an example of how, contrasting with, say, a rock concert or even a jazz concert where you come away feeling electrified, this type of concert you can come away exhausted, as is typical of deep classical works, especially modern ones like this where you really do have to concentrate. But I'm looking forward to it, and I'm especially looking forward to hear Leila Josefowicz perform as well. To quote from the Barbican website, Susanna Mielke is one of today's most versatile conductors, very much at home with these 20th century orchestral landmarks. Leila Josefowicz sparkles in Stravinsky's concerto. Let's talk a little bit about Leila Josefowicz also. Perhaps I should be pronouncing her name Leila Josefowicz. As far as I can tell, she is Jewish and was born in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada. And when she was a young child, her family moved to Los Angeles, California, where she started studying violin at the age of 3.5, using the Suzuki method. Her father, physicist Jack Josefowicz, and mother, biologist Wendy Josefowicz, so scientist parents, apparently learned the violin with her. Leila Josefowicz was born in 1977, making her just a few months younger than me. At age 5, she started formal lessons with Idel Lowe. At 7, she began studies with the distinguished violin teacher Robert Lipsett at the Colburn School. Leila's parents, valuing a well-rounded education, believed that both she and her brother Stephen should stay in the public school system, and Leila attended public, middle and high school despite a very full schedule of music activities. When Leila was 13, the Josefowiczes moved to Philadelphia so she could attend the prestigious Curtis Institute of Music, where she studied with Jaime Laredo, Yasha Brodsky, Felix Galimir and Joseph Gingold. Leila also attended the Julia R. Masterman School in Philadelphia while at Curtis, completing a Bachelor of Music degree and her high school diploma in the same year. While still in her teens, Josefowicz played with symphony orchestras in Europe, Asia and North America, including the major orchestras of Philadelphia, Cleveland, Los Angeles, Houston, Chicago, Boston, Montreal and Toronto. Josefowicz made her Carnegie Hall debut in 1994, performing the Tchaikovsky Concerto with Sir Neville Marriner and the Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. The same year, she signed an exclusive recording contract with Philips Classics, recording the Tchaikovsky and Sibelius concertos. Other recordings followed on Warner Classics, Nonosuk Records and Deutsche Grammophon that include masterworks for solo violin, recital repertoire and the concertos of romantic and modern composers. Josefowicz has kept a busy international schedule as a soloist, performing regularly around the world, including North and South America, Europe, Asia, Australia and New Zealand. Josefowicz is acclaimed for championing new compositions, including works by John Adams, Oliver Knussen, Thomas Adès and Luca Francesconi. She received an Avery Fisher Career Grant in 1994. In 2007, she was named a USA Cummings Fellow, United States Artists. For her advocacy of new contemporary works for the violin, Josefowicz was named a 2008 MacArthur Fellow. In 2018, she was awarded the Avery Fisher Prize. Josefowicz was married to the conductor Christian Jarvie, and they have a son. As far as I can tell, she lives on the Upper West Side of New York City, where she has a 14th floor apartment. So then, the time has come to shoot down to London to go and see the Igor Stravinsky Violin Concerto, performed by the great Leila Josefowicz. Let's get down there. So we're here at the Barbican Centre in London. I thought I'd have a little look around on the inside of the hall where we're going to be tomorrow for the concert. So I thought I'd just come and have a look around the Barbican Centre where I'm coming for the concert tomorrow night. And I've actually managed to get myself a little bite to eat, breakfast here in the Barbican kitchen, and quite a pleasant day. And quite nice around here too. So we're just in the hotel room and the time is fast approaching to get ready and head over to the Barbican Centre for the Leila Josefowicz Stravinsky Violin Concerto with the LSO. So I'm just going to get ready and head over there. Really looking forward to this concert now. And if you're interested, you can forward towards the end of the video, because on the Saturday we actually spent some time down at the London Docklands and there were some fun things to do down there with the family. So if you're interested in that, forward towards the end of the video. If not, I'll tell you my thoughts about the Leila Josefowicz performance after I've been to the concert. See you over there. So that concerto was really awesome. I noticed that Leila, just these little things that I observe, does not use a shoulder rest. Instead, she has like a piece of leather strapped around the end of the violin. She still had a little mark on her neck there, but she's old school in that sense. None of the old players used to use shoulder rests, and neither did she, so Hi-Fitz would be happy with that. She kind of does have sort of facial, I don't want to say grimaces, and she is quite buoyant on the stage, so she doesn't have that old kind of poker-faced fixed position on the stage. Playing was beautiful. And the conductor I was very impressed with, and as they're kind of sort of holding hands and bowing at the end, they looked like a couple of Viking girls. Leila with her blonde hair kind of plaited to the side, but I liked the way that the conductor conducted in a dignified way, and also was at certain points sort of smiling at her orchestra. And quite stoic, but with smiles here and there. The first orchestral piece was only about 8 minutes long, and what is interesting about it in particular is that it's composed by an African American woman in around 1952. So doubly unusual, woman composer, African American composer, but with a woman with very high credentials, because she studied under composition under Nadine Boulanger and some others, an Italian master, and her works I think were forgotten for a while and then rediscovered. There's some information in this program about her, and the fact that it was just 8 minutes, it kind of leaves you wanting more. Whereas the Bartok was 40 minutes. So an evening of modern works with obviously Stravinsky was the icing on the cake. Being able to see Leila Josefowicz, that passport chord coming in and highly virtuosic and just something a bit different. I'm a romantic, me. Give me a Beethoven, a Mendelssohn, Mozart, Bach, Brahms, but even early 20th century like Sibelius, Kreisler, give me that stuff any day. Stravinsky, I have to dig deeper to appreciate it. So in a way, I'm kind of glad that I've made myself go and see a modern neoclassical concerto that I perhaps wouldn't normally be inclined to see, because it really is a compositional genius. And I think also he composed it quite quickly, summer of 1931 or something. Quite quickly, working with the violinist Dushkin, initially reluctant to accept the commission, sort of scribbling ideas on napkins, and contrast that with, say, the Mendelssohn that took, was it 7 years from composer to finish? He's churned this concerto out quick, but it's still pretty amazing work. Not one I'd listen to every day, but one that I certainly did appreciate tonight in the hands of Leila. So those are my thoughts after this concert. Heading back to the hotel now.